Hi, this is Randy of the Buy Any Bag Makers group on Facebook, and in this series of videos I am going to show you how to make treasures and trinkets. This is a great Buy Any pattern. It's currently my favorite. It is an older pattern, which is I think maybe why it's not as popular as I think it should be. It's a really great pattern. There are no add-on videos for it. I'm guessing that's maybe why I don't see a lot of people making this one. So I want to fix that. So I am going to break this down for you step by step. This will probably be 6 videos. It might be 7. We'll see how it goes. And the first thing I want to do is show you a finished one and walk you through what all the parts are. So this will be in lieu of the schematics that I usually provide in my slow alongs. Okay. Okay, so this is a size medium, treasures and trinkets, and I promise you I cannot spit out that word properly today. So it's gonna sound all kinds of strange. I'm very sorry. I don't know what's going on. I just cannot say the word treasures. Okay, so this is size medium. On this one, I did do a couple of modifications, so I'll mention those as I go through my little tour of the bag. I make the handle a little bit longer. I'm a big person. I have large hands. Those little dainty handles that the patterns have are lovely, but they do not work for a large woman like me. So I make the handle a little bit longer so I can fit my ginormous hand in there. Okay. I add about an inch to the measurements usually. All right. So this is the case top, case lid, case base on the bottom. Okay, around the back, you have the back strip. Okay, and then let me get this unzipped and I'll show you the inside. Okay, one of the modifications I did, and it's a pretty major one here, in the pattern this would be the earring bar. I'm not using this for jewelry, so I didn't need a place to hang earrings. I don't really own many earrings anyway, so I just made a mesh zipper pocket in the back. Okay, so that goes inside the case lid. We're going to be making the earring bar. Okay, this is the wrong side of the back strip with the back strip bindings. And then as you open this up, this first biggest flap that comes out, this is flap A. Okay, and you can make your flaps and pods with either clear vinyl or mesh. That's totally up to you. You can do a mixture of them if you want to. You do whatever you like. So that's flap A. These are flaps B and C in no particular order. They are the same. They're interchangeable. Unless it matters for fabric placement or whatever. It doesn't matter which one you put where. And then down here you have 3 removable pods. Now another major, well I guess not major, another modification I made is in the pattern this has a sew-in snap to attach this bottom strap. I used Velcro. I just didn't feel like fussing with a little tiny sew-in snap, and also I didn't have a rainbow one to match my hardware. That was the real reason. So I used Velcro. Alright, so these pods each have a loop that you put the bottom strap through and then it holds the pods in there. And the pattern has you make 3. Depending what you're going to use this for, you might want to make extra pods and then you can switch them out to sort of customize what you need to bring with you. Okay, so these are each a little zipper pocket with the loop on the bottom. That's the pod loop. Okay, so those are your parts. And next I'll go over some of the materials. Okay, so like with most Buy Any projects, this is made with quilted fabric. It's quilted to soft and stable. That is the foam that I recommend using. I won't use anything else. I just think it's the best. They're not paying me to say that. I really just think it's the best foam. So, but use what's available to you. I realize not everybody has that available. So, I am not going to go over cutting and quilting in these videos. You need to refer to your pattern and do that before we start the actual construction of the bag. But I just want to tell you a couple of things. In the pattern, it tells you to seal the edges. And what that means is after you quilt and cut each piece, you are going to sew around the very edge of each piece I use a 4-length straight stitch. Some people like to zigzag. Some people like to use a serger. All of those are fine, but you need to do something to secure the edges of each quilted piece of fabric. Okay, that's just to make sure everything is secure and you don't have the layers of your fabric getting bunched up or folded down or whatever. This makes it a lot easier to put together too, because when you sew over soft and stable, it compresses it, and then it makes it easier to construct your bag. Okay, so you have all your quilted fabric, and then you also have some fabric that is not quilted. So you'll have a large piece for your bias binding, and you'll have your handle, the facings for the flaps and the pods, the bottom strap, and some straight binding pieces. Okay, and then you're going to need some pieces of fusible interfacing. The pattern recommends SF101 Shape Flex. So the package looks like this. Okay, it's a woven interfacing. When you fuse this, I'll give you a little tip that I found out the hard way. Make sure your iron is not set too high, because if it is, it will make your fabric get all wavy and weird, and we don't want that to happen. So medium heat, it works well. If you are purchasing this from byannie.com, it's going to look like this, and it's called SUP179. That's just their internal code. It's the same stuff as this. It even says on here, SF101 Shape Flex. I know some people see that SUP179, they get confused. It's just a code. It's the same stuff. Okay, so that's the interfacing. You will also need a little skinny piece of soft and stable for the handle. So one piece that doesn't get quilted. And then you need a piece of vinyl mesh. This is not the mesh you use for the pockets in lots of byannie bags. This is a different product. It's stiffer. It's like plasticky feeling. You can get this at byannie.com. I will put the link in the description. Okay, this is for the earring bar in the back. And then you need either clear vinyl. This is clear vinyl with the paper still attached. That's why it looks weird. Or mesh if you're using mesh. If you're using mesh for the pods and the flaps, just make note that you cut the mesh a little bit bigger, just to correct any wonkiness that happens when you're attaching it. The pattern has that as a little note. So like I mentioned in the beginning, this is an older byannie pattern, and it's still awesome, but it was written before some of the notations were sort of standardized. So the biggest thing that I saw that might be a little bit confusing, especially if you are a byannie veteran, is the quilted sets that you cut and quilt they're usually called quilted set A, quilted set B. In this pattern, they're called A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3. So what I suggest before you start is take a good hard look at those labels on the last page of the pattern, and if you need to make little notes to yourself on those labels to help you understand what each thing is, then don't be shy. I mean, write all over that. You're making a copy of it to use for this anyway, at least I hope you are. Those labels are meant to photocopy and cut out to label all the parts of your project. So what I would do is, just to avoid confusion, just note on there that one is quilted set A, quilted set B, quilted set C, and so forth.